Chapter 3. The Runway. The things that led to 1400. The Renaissance did not suddenly appear in Florence. For centuries, Europe had been building the runway. After the collapse of the Western Roman Empire, Western Europe became poorer, more rural, and politically fragmented. Cities shrank and long-distance trade diminished. But Europe kept changing. By around the year 1000, agricultural production and population were growing. The heavy plow, improved horse harnesses, watermills, windmills, and changing farming practices helped produce more food. More food supported more people. More people created larger towns, and towns created trade. Italian cities such as Venice and Genoa became commercial powers, connecting Western Europe with Byzantium and the vast trading networks of the Islamic world. The Crusades were wars, but they also increased the movement of people, goods, money, and ideas across the Mediterranean. Europe encountered spices, silk, medicines, sugar, and other valuable products. But something even more important traveled with them: knowledge. Scholars working in Greek, Arabic, Persian, Hebrew, and other intellectual traditions had preserved, translated, criticized, and expanded ancient knowledge. Mathematics, astronomy, medicine, philosophy, geography. Works associated with Aristotle, Euclid, Galen, and Ptolemy entered or re-entered Western European scholarship through translation and exchange. Europe didn't simply recover ancient knowledge. It encountered centuries of scholarship built upon it. Even European numbers changed. The Hindu-Arabic numeral system spread gradually. In 1202, Fibonacci promoted its usefulness in Liber Abaci. Positional notation and zero made calculation and commerce easier. Trade expanded. Banking became more sophisticated. Merchant networks stretched across Europe. Italian cities grew rich. And wealthy people wanted things: magnificent churches, public buildings, paintings, sculpture, books. They were willing to pay people to create them. Meanwhile, universities emerged in places such as Bologna, Paris, and Oxford. Scholars translated ancient works, debated philosophy, studied logic, and attempted to reconcile classical knowledge with Christianity. Europe was developing institutions devoted to advanced learning. Culture changed too. Dante wrote much of the Divine Comedy in the language ordinary Florentines spoke, rather than restricting himself to Latin. Around 1300, Giotto painted human beings with weight, emotion, and a sense of physical space. Then came Petrarch. Born in 1304, Petrarch searched for ancient manuscripts and treated classical writers as human voices worth hearing again. That helped create Renaissance humanism. The ancient world became something Europeans could deliberately rediscover, study, and perhaps surpass. Then came catastrophe. Beginning in 1347, the Black Death killed an enormous fraction of Europe's population. Families disappeared. Farms were abandoned. Businesses lost workers. But the catastrophe also changed Europe's economy. With fewer workers available, labor became more valuable. In many places, survivors could demand better wages or conditions despite attempts to stop them. Property changed hands. Wealth shifted. Traditional relationships between peasants, landlords, craftsmen, merchants, and governments came under pressure. The medieval order survived, but it had been shaken, and nowhere were the changes more visible than northern Italy. Florence had international commerce, a powerful textile industry, bankers, guilds, merchants, writers, artists, and scholars. Its wealthy families also understood something important. Money could purchase more than property. It could purchase prestige. Build a church and people might remember your family. Commission a painting and generations might see it. Support a scholar and your influence might survive you. By 1400, the ingredients were assembled: cities, trade, banking, universities, paper, mathematics, classical philosophy, knowledge transmitted through Byzantium and the Islamic world. vernacular literature, humanism, more realistic art, powerful guilds, wealthy merchants, competitive Italian city-states, and a society transformed by the Black Death. None of these things alone created the Renaissance. There was no single invention, genius, king, or date when medieval Europe suddenly became Renaissance Europe. Instead, developments accumulated. Trade carried knowledge. Knowledge improved commerce. Commerce created wealth. Wealth supported education and art. Education recovered old ideas. Old ideas inspired new ones. For centuries, Europe had been building a runway. Then we reach 1400. The runway is ready. Florence is waiting. The engines are beginning to turn. And Europe is about to take off.